When Bonnie asked me if I'd like to participate in tonight's roast, I very reluctantly agreed. I mean, how could I possibly say anything negative about Ginny? Turns out it wasn't as hard as I thought. I know what you're all thinking right now. An evening full of accounting humor. It doesn't get any better than this. I'd like to start out with a list of the top 14 things you probably didn't know about Ginny. Number 14. Once had to step in and do a cha-cha during a dance contest after Mrs. Shipley sprained an ankle. Number 13. I don't want to say that Ginny can hold her liquor, but her husband's friends used to throw parties and charge people to come watch her drink. Number 12. Can still bench press 2 1/4. That's not bad. I didn't know that myself. Number 11. Once stole Rose's coffee scoop just because. In fairness, her daughter Nancy was a teenager at the time. Number 10. Still has more Twitter followers than anyone else in her over 55 community. Number 9. Once played Rizzo in Grease off-Broadway. It's a good accomplishment. Number 8. Used to sneak out behind Driver 1 with Mrs. Shipley and have liquid lunches, which were comprised of Manhattans and whiskey and water. Why don't we get to do that anymore? That's what I'm wondering. Number 7. Helped burn down Camden Catholic while a senior there in 1960. This explains why she had to marry the fire inspector. Number 6. Now that she's married, she's going to fulfill a lifelong dream. To sleep with Wayne Newton. You thought she was just a Sinatra fan. Number 5. Her father served in Ascot. But her father did serve in World War II on a cruiser, the San Juan. Very nice. Number 4. She is getting a little tired of those long visits to her friends in Florida. They're not. I don't think they're here. Number 3. Went to so many Flyers games with the Shipleys that they made her an honorary Broad Street bully. She once met Gene Hart, and I heard that he let her touch his microphone. Legally speaking, she's still not allowed within 200 feet of Bernie Prom. Number 2. Once told Hugh Henley to drop dead over the phone.
Once?
And the number 1 thing you probably didn't know about Ginny, can still shotgun a beer as fast as she did in middle school. I have a few of Ginny's favorite things during her time at American Casey. Least favorite things, I'm sorry, I'm starting with the least favorite things. Taste testing cheesecakes made by Ted Zolper.
Ted Zolper, oh my God.
Laura Fine from Salvona. Each day having to separate all Bonnie's hate mail from the regular company mail. Getting removed from the office in handcuffs in the 80s. It was a crazy time. And lastly, that creepy webcam that Mike Geiger put in the women's room. And then there were some of Ginny's favorite things during her time at American KC. Waiting in line for a free turkey with Tom Black at the Showboat. The Porsche that Mike Geiger gave her. Cat sitting for Ricky Shipley's cat, squirrel. Jane, thank you. Lengthy Chempax jam sessions with Roger.
Oh yeah.
High on all of our lists. And lastly, that creepy webcam that Oscar Lopez put in the men's room. But before I get back to Ginny, I see we have a lot of familiar faces here tonight. Ginny's husband Jim is here tonight. He's a fire investigator. I guess that explains why Mr. Shipley never just burnt the plant down to collect the insurance money.
Well, I didn't do the fire investigation in the packing house.
Actually, Will Robinson did burn down dryer number 4. But that's a cold case, right, Jim?
Cold case, yeah.
I see Ellen is here tonight. Most people are familiar with Ellen's notable contributions to the company. Collecting the weekly timesheets. Making sure no calls got through to Mr. Shipley from Ted Zolper, Will Robinson, or Mike Pepler. In fairness, who doesn't screen calls for Mike Pepler? Generously distributing her money to other people via the football pool. And waking up Mr. Shipley in time for The Price is Right. Glad to see John Andrews here tonight. I know no one thought I would go there. Many of you know him by one of his many aliases, such as the human doorstop, the one-man verbal PO machine. I was once stuck in an elevator with John for half an hour. Longest week of my life. I'm not saying John could stare you down, but he once won a staring contest with a portrait of Mr. Shipley in the front office. 1 month, John verballed so many POs that it took Roger 6 weeks to finish the monthly financials. Needless to say, Dennis was quite happy that Roger had finished them early that month. And we have Mike Pepler here tonight. I didn't know this until recently, but Chris Lockard told me that there's actually a pool going around the company as to which there will be a higher number of. Cliff Lang's hip replacements or Mike Pepler's wives. Chris Lockard told me that. I'd like to reiterate that Chris Lockard told me that.
Oh, that's rough.
I see Ginny's son Jimmy is here tonight. He's a member of the Burlington County SWAT team. I'm sure there's plenty of need for that. This isn't exactly Compton. Maybe there's a lot of horses getting loose, cow tipping I'm not aware of. I heard that once a week they perform a random home invasion just for funsies. Just to stay sharp.
Just to stay sharp.
On the positive side, Jimmy did allow us to participate in their annual golf tournament a few times. I believe that's where Chuck Hacker got the nickname Shankopotamus. Well, it was either there or the Sizzler. Will somebody hire that guy back already? Notice how AMCO loves to bring people back for round 2. Marty, Greg Hilbert, John Ottinger, even Will Robinson. More on that later. Working here is less like a job and more like an incurable disease. Kind of like herpes. But don't worry, Jenny. Fran told me that the symptoms eventually do go away. I didn't expect to see Mike Geiger here tonight. Oh, sorry, that's Chris Lockard. Sorry, Chris, I thought the road game would work too, buddy.
See, I told you.
But I didn't even expect to see Chris here tonight. Parks Casino must be closed. No, I don't see Pat McCarron out there. Did anyone really think he would come? Ron Downs unfortunately couldn't make it tonight. He's been very busy since he replaced Charles Bronson in the Death Wish series. I was hoping Ron could make it. All right, lastly, I put together a timeline of events that's brought us to this festive occasion. 1942. Mary Virginia Caputi is born in Stratford, New Jersey. Also 1942. The Philadelphia Eagles are 2-9. The season was jinxed when quarterback Tommy Thompson boldly stated that they had assembled, in the offseason, they had assembled a dream team. I'd like to shout out to Fran, you wrote that. 1956, Mr. Shipley founds AMCO, blah, blah, let's skip ahead. 1960, Ginny graduates from Camden Catholic. And some of you don't know how lazy she can be sometimes. In this case, she graduated on a Friday and didn't start working at the phone company until the following Monday. It's supposed to be senior week, Ginny, not senior weekend. 1968. In a story right out of a fairy tale, Ginny meets her future husband while coming out of the bathroom at Skeet's 23 Skidoo in Cherry Hill. No other joke here, but it is fun to say Skeet's 23 Skidoo. 1978. Hot off of starring in a few guest spots on Charlie's Angels, including a love scene with Bosley, Ginny is hired in Amco.